some amazing pieces. Like, unbelievable. Bonjour, mes amis. I want to do a quick video about thrifting, tips for thrifting. Today, I set out to partake in Starbucks free coffee drinks. Of course, I live for my Starbucks and they had free drinks today, so there's no way I was going to give that up. But after doing so, I decided to do a bit of thrifting. With thrifting, there are certainly tips that can make you a better thrifter. Not only for thrifting, this can apply to vintage and consignment shops as well, but more so for thrifting. The first issue I see a lot when I have gone with people to thrift stores is sizing. That is a very, very American thing to be really hung up on sizing. I've seen people put back items after looking at the tag and seeing that it was perhaps an 18 or a 20, only because in their head it's, I don't wear an 18, I don't wear a 20, when in all actuality, that 18 or 20 could have fit, but you don't know until you try it on. So here's the thing with sizing. It's two parts, and I'll make this as quick as I can. First is vintage sizing. Up until, I want to say, the 60s or so, between the 30s and 60s, there was no such thing as a 0. Clothing started at, I want to say, an 8. It could have been a 10. Do check this as well. But with that being said, there was no such thing as 0. Versus now, we have 0. I believe there's even double zeros. So if you take that into account, if an 8 was the smallest size, an 18 would be perhaps an 8 or so. So with vintage items, do not get hung up on the sizing. Just take the garment, kind of eyeball. You can guess if an item is worth you even trying on. If something just looks tremendously, large or way too small, don't waste your time. But if something looks like there may be a possibility, try it on regardless of the size. What I try to get so many people to realize, and especially my clients, the goal is not to fixate on a size. The goal is to look well in what you're wearing, regardless of the size. Today, even when shopping, I have items ranging from a 2 to a 22. And that 22 size item is one of my favorites. But again, had I been so hung up on, oh my God, this is a 22, I would have missed out on a really great item. It's a leather coat, amazing, with a fur collar. Oh my God. So yes, so keep that in mind when thrifting, vintage, consignment, any of those things. Throw the whole notion of size out, because again, we have today what is called vanity sizing. And vanity sizing, it's a psychological tactic that designers and retailers use to make you want to shop with them. Case in point, there is a certain fast fashion brand. Pardon me, I have to keep my computer on because I have my notes. There is a particular fast fashion brand that I wear, I think, a 00 in. I'm pretty slim, but I am not a 00. But if I was a person that meant something to me, I would only shop in that store because I'm a 00. But that doesn't matter to me. I want my clothes to look nice. And that is a big eye opener when you travel to Europe and you have a reality check with their real sizes, because in Europe, for the most part, not including the fast fashion shops, they do not use vanity sizing. So look that up when you all can. The next thing I would say for thrifting tips is to ask for discounts. If you see an item, if of course, it's thrifted, and look at my previous vlog, Thrifting, Vintage, Consignment, where I discussed the difference. With thrifting, of course, everything isn't going to be creme de la creme because it is donated. But if there is something that's noticeably, torn or snagged or stained, ask for a discount. I mean, there's no harm. All they can do is tell you no. So do that. And also check for sales. Some thrift stores have sales on particular days. I know on holidays, a lot of thrift stores give 50% off. So keep that in mind for holidays or particular days of the week. The next tip I have is to master the art of scanning. I get very overwhelmed when shopping. I really have to be mentally prepared when going shopping, and that's why I was really shocked that I just randomly stumbled into a thrift store, because I really do have to be mentally prepared. With that, I don't like spending a lot of time. I do not. So I'm sure I have missed out on a lot of items because I don't go, hanger by hanger. I just do a kind of scan. I know there's certain things that I am just naturally drawn to. Furs, leather, suede, tweeds, things of that nature. So if there's certain colors, I like black. I'm drawn to those kind of things. So master the art of scanning, and that will save you a lot of time when you are thrifting. The next tip, I have provided this tip with those when we go on the cappuccinos and consignment experiences, is to dress effectively. I was not dressed today. This is what I had on today, and I just wanted to do this quick video. I didn't even set up my whole YouTube. I'm using my front facing camera. I wanted to do this because I took a poll and you all said you wanted to know, so I wanted to get this done quick. Dress effectively. I was not dressed effectively. As effective as I would have dressed if I knew I was going to go out thrifting. I am wearing a dress, so that makes it much easier if I want to just slip on a skirt or pants without having to wait in line, because a lot of thrift stores, the lines are super long, or you can only take a few items in, or they're just filthy. So if you are dressed effectively, you can try on items on the floor. If it's a coat, put it on. If it's a skirt, just kind of slip it under. Have that flexibility. So dress effectively. Let's see. The next one is being realistic. This applies to not only thrifting, consignment, and vintage, but just shopping in general, and especially this time of year, holiday season. Everything is on sale. Today I went to the mall to do a return, and I ended up just exchanging, but nonetheless, the store was having a massive sale. Everything was 50 to 75% off, and it is very intoxicating. When you see sales, psychologically, you compromise. If there's an item that you're not crazy about, it's like, well, it's 50% off, so, why not? That's not the way to shop. That's not the way to build a classic wardrobe. Do not succumb to the flash sales and all. If you wouldn't pay full price for it, don't buy it just because it's on sale. And that is easy to do when thrifting, because items are $6, $9, $10 that you do lower your standards. Those $6 to $10 adds up. If you get 10 items that are $10 that are, but they're $10, that's $100 that you have just spent on something that you could have made an investment in. So please do not get hung up on, it's only $3, it's only $6. This is how I measure things in cappuccinos. Yes, I know it sounds crazy. Let's just say a cappuccino, $5. If I see something, I'm looking at a top that I had to do this equation for. If I see something that's $15, I have to ask myself, is that worth, and I'm still looking at it because I'm like, is that worth, it's worth it. Is that worth 3 cappuccinos? I love cappuccinos. I know I will enjoy my cappuccino. So is this item that I'm kind of up in the air about worth 3 of my cappuccinos? So use that strategy to whatever it is that you like, because it gives like a very real, just notion to it. So those are a few tips that I have. I'm sure there are more. If I think of anything else, I will just write about it. But yes, let me know if you all have any other questions about the process of thrifting, what to look for, any of those things. And in a separate blog, I detail how I clean items that cannot be washed in a dryer. Let's see. I feel like that is it. And I also took another clip, but I'll add those in and I will give you all a sneak peek of the items I purchased today. So, of course, as always, please let me know what you all think, and please let me know what you all would like to hear. So, ciao for now. Mezzanines, I thought of one last tip and I'm still here, so I just figured I could record it versus writing it. That tip is to always look behind the counter. I know every thrift store has a different layout, but for the most part, there's always a jewelry case of some sort. Behind that case is where higher end items are typically stored. That is not always true because, again, in my vlog, Thrifting Vintage Consignment, I spoke about thrift stores, how they just receive bins of donations. So if the store is not really good at sorting properly, high-end pieces can go to the floor. But for the most part, if it is a very organized store, your higher end pieces will be behind the counter. And these pieces are not just limited to clothing. You can find fine china, electronics, just things of that nature. It's not just clothing, but of course I'm in the market for clothes. Case in point, today I checked out in a register away from the jewelry display, but I always check behind the display as I'm leaving out. And I saw a plaid garment. I didn't know what the garment was. I just wanted to see it. When the sales associate pulled it out, it appeared to be Burberry, but again, I don't know. So I asked, could I see the item? I did a quick Google search to ensure that the tags were, appropriate for it to be authentic. And that is another thing too. With certain items, the tags and logos change. That's a whole other subject. I can do a post about that. But nonetheless, this was a contemporary piece, a Burberry pencil skirt. Googled the tag, confirmed that it was authentic, and that skirt retails for about $400 or $500, and I got it for $50. Yes, there were a few other pieces behind there, but it was mostly furs, and I feel like I'm okay for now with furs. It wasn't anything that just pulled me in. So yes, always check behind the counter because those will be your higher end items. And if I think of anything else, I will write it because I have got to prepare for tomorrow. Alrighty, ciao for now. Of course, I found my way into a thrift shop. This is an El Tahari cape with a hoodie. Well, it's not a cape because it has sleeves, but it has that cape feel. This is one. And Taylor Loft. The vintage leather coats. Oddly enough, I have a cropped leather red jacket in my shopping cart at Louisa Roma. So glad I didn't purchase it. Oh my goodness. Suede dress. It fits with a dress on under it, so I'm sure without I'll be good. This is another that I'm on the fence on. It fits, but again, I do have a dress on under it, so I'm sure it'll fit better without the dress. If not, I could just wear it open like this. It's definitely an option. And with the dress on, so I know this whole thing, this is torture. Like, I utterly detest trying on clothes.